Nestled in the hills of Somerset lies Windsor Hill Wood, part sanctuary, part experiment, part act of faith. Founded in 2009 by Tobias Jones, this clearing in the woods has been a place where strangers become companions and broken lives begin to mend. In his book, A Place of Refuge, Jones described this valley as a space where despair could be met with hospitality, where the simple rhythms of rural life offered a path back to hope. But 17 years on, the question remains, has that vision endured?
So Tobes had come, I think, on his own to visit, and then also came over with our daughter Grace, and they both came back saying no. And I said, I want to go. So Tobes and I came over. And for me, there was the excitement from the advert, but literally as soon as I put my foot on the floor, so I stepped out of the car, put my foot on the floor, I was flooded with so much joy that I hadn't felt for a long time. And I thought, this is where I need to be. And that, I would say, yes, that was a spiritual moment.
Not all guests wish to appear on camera. Out of respect for their privacy, their identities have been protected. Only a couple of guests agreed to be interviewed, and their stories are shared here with full consent.
So tell me a little bit about this place.
I think it was essentially set up as a therapeutic community. It's not a word that we use much anymore. So since Toby and his wife Hez arrived, the whole thing is to try and get it back onto a sustainable level so that we can actually see people have the possibility of really changing. I mean, for most of us, it's just about actually having space, because in the main system, there isn't space. They give you drugs, they give you counselling, but there's no actual space,
100%.
you know, to just gather yourself and recalibrate. And that's the big thing. Everywhere I've been, I've come out of a mental health facility and everyone there just needed to recalibrate, and they were just stuffing them full of drugs.
Guests arrive from many paths: homelessness, addiction, loneliness, exhaustion. Some are seeking direction, others simply need rest. Windsor Hill Wood asks a simple question: can community itself be a form of healing?
So, casting judgment. So, we do no guilt, no shame, no judgment here, and the guests can't cope with that and I've had it levelled at me. They're saying, "Well, I do judgment, and I'm judging you because you did that." And I'm going, "Okay, but that's not where we come from." So I think I've messed up so much in my life. There's no way I can judge anyone.
It's easy to think this happens to someone else, but the possibility of falling through the cracks is closer than we imagine.
So it is what it is, but the couple who run it are absolutely amazing. And for me, it was perfect timing. With mental health, one of the priorities here, which is different to mental health facilities, is safety. And that's the big thing. I think for mental health people to make it go forward, often their homes weren't safe, their communities weren't safe. And for all of us here, it's a safe place. And if you don't make it safe for the other residents, you most really won't stay very long.
What do you think Windsor Hill Wood is unique to other places?
Firstly, that it sits outside of the statutory services, so we're a charity.
Yeah.
So that gives us a lot more flexibility, just in terms of how we run things, who we have. We don't have referral criteria for people to come here. So a lot of people do struggle with addiction, a lot of people do have mental health issues, but they don't have to have those. They just need to, the only thing is that they see themselves at a point of crisis in their lives. So although I'm not an addict, and hopefully I don't have mental health issues, I still came here as a guest because I was in crisis, because my husband was dying and it was COVID and it was horrid.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is pretty unique. It's small, and the other thing is that we call ourselves an extended family, so we have kids around. Manny and Grace, and before them Nathaniel and Josh. And so we place ourselves around the table in there, the family table. And I think a rule of thumb is if we can't all sit around the table, there's too many of us.
So we've got lots of volunteers today. We have 10 people coming for lunch. Well, that includes our guests. So full house. And so the freezer comes in really handy with lots of our things from Fair Share, lots of pasties, sausage rolls, nice warm hearty food on a cold winter's day.
Life here is lived together, meals cooked and shared, chores done side by side, wood chopped, gardens tended, animals cared for. In these small acts, connection begins to replace isolation.
We have a weekly rhythm of kind of jobs to give people a sense of purpose and actually to keep the place running as well.
So what's your name?
Richard.
Richard. So what are you doing here today?
Well, it was a damp floor, so we're digging it out, putting in a proper concrete floor with damp-proof coursing, and then it will be converted into a new accommodation unit for Windsor Hill.
So what sort of challenges do you think you face down here?
Challenges. Well, there's actually you think you're running a household on one level, because it's just a big home, 4 acres. You've got to make meals, you've got to do house duties, and on top of that, you're trying to grow the place.
Yeah.
So, one minute you're clearing polytunnels, and then you harvesting vegetables, and I'm building rockeries, and you've got the animals to feed.
Yeah.
So it becomes quite complex. It's actually, in many ways, a small company.
Yeah.
It doesn't operate unless everyone gets engaged. It's 4 acres, 5 acres,
Yeah.
and it just takes time and energy, really.
In these small acts, connection begins to replace isolation.
People can come somewhere for a month or for a week or for a few days or in a meeting and get a certain amount of help. They can get practical help with their housing and things like that. But actually, a lot of the wounding that happens in a person's heart happens in their earliest years, in their family setting. And what Windsor Hill Wood brings and gives is just a real sense of family. And a lot of places throw that word around. But here it's really real. And at the centre of that is this beautiful table that we sit round and we eat our meals. We talk round, we share our hearts, and we just hang out with each other. There's all kinds of support that people can get linked in with, but actually I think the thing that brings the healing is just that beautiful connection, is knowing that you're loved and accepted, and you can be here on your worst day and not have to put on a brave face or put on a mask.
Everybody here has been very warm, very welcoming, very helpful. If you want to know how to do something or where to find something, somebody's always there and happy to help. And we support each other. Just, a listening ear or a chat is often all that's needed. And I found that very helpful. The site is lovely.
How does being a warden involve you day to day?
Well, when I was a residential warden here, I lived here full time in the room just in there. So it's just living with people in community, but also keeping the rhythm going. So we have quite a strict rhythm to the day. If you get up in the morning, you have a meeting, you work till lunchtime, you have lunch, you have the afternoon off. And as a warden, that's part of my duty, to hold that rhythm, to listen to people, to make them feel heard, and to support them in making the next step, because this isn't a permanent place for people. They're here for a year, but also to hopefully try and give them something that will take them on to the next step in their lives.
Yeah. So this gentleman here, how long have you...
just waiting for the trouble.
You just...
I'm a member at the local church where the previous wardens were members, in fact still are members of the church, and they asked for some help. I became a trustee, and I look after the money of which there isn't much. And so I really wanted to help them in the first instance.
Yet communal living brings its own frictions, different personalities, different traumas, and limited resources create tension. The work is demanding, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
It's been the most difficult thing I think that we've ever done. And the last 2 years have been, I've nearly left, but that was only a reaction out of like, I can't be here.
And it's quite real. And I think for a lot of people, you need activity and you need challenge, not just to be like, I need to find myself. And, I think the fact that you have to be accountable, whereas in facilities, they just seem to give you drugs. You've got a lot of people. You've got pharmacists, doctors, security, dispensaries, but actually they're not actually, I didn't get one counselling session, but they're monitoring you for every 15 minutes to make sure that people don't get into an altercation during the night. It's really strange. And then you look at this place, there are 4 or 5 people, and what it costs for one day in a facility, you can have a person here for a month.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
So you can have 30 people of investing here, and there's a product, well, not a product. I come out healthier.
100%.
And you come out of a mental health facility.
And you're in the nature as well. So
Absolutely. So you can see this is our vegetable area. It's a lot of fun, and it's amazing what the land gives you back. So
There's just a lot of beauty. A lot of the healing comes just in the conversations, just walking the grounds, which are so beautiful.
So the studio was the old crusher house that was used to cut up the stone when it was quarried here. So it crushed it, cut it, and then big cranes would actually lift the stone onto the train because there's a railway line that runs right next to it. But it's really helpful for us to use during the week for when guests have therapies. So because it's a way, the main building doesn't really have any spare rooms.
So how often would you use this building here?
It's used 2 or 3 times a week for therapies at the moment, actually. And then we have our trustees meetings in here, or when we want to meet with guests, we'll also come up here. So here is the studio. So yeah, this took a long time, a lot of people to do up.
What about the stained glass?
Oh yes. We commissioned that piece from a lady called April Pebble, who she is an artist at Rock Farm Collective, and the hole was already there.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to do something quite creative with it, and so we said, could you make something? She'd been up to do a workshop with us, and she'd brought lots of broken bits of glass of different colours. And I said to her, can you use your discard bucket and put all the beautiful little pieces
And make a mosaic,
together and make that window.
This is supposed to symbolise like the sun.
It actually symbolises, I think for me, the broken pieces. When you put them together, actually they complement each other, and you wouldn't think it would work. And it's a bit like Windsor Hill. Why would you put all the broken people together? Wouldn't that be a disaster? But actually, something beautiful comes out of it.
Yeah.
And then the Windsor Hill Wood lettering in the middle of that is actually carved on the table pegs by Toby Jones, the originator.
Yeah.
So we did a rubbing of that, and then she has etched it onto the glass.
The land and the animals shape daily life as much as any human presence here.
There's the chickens, which are actually harder work than you'd think.
Caring for animals creates responsibility and routine, and often a surprising sense of calm.
And here we have Tallulah. I don't know if she's going to show us off. She's our goat. She's superb. A complete nutter, so she fits in with a lot of the residents quite nicely.
I think I'm the only person that the goat hasn't headbutted. So maybe I'm a goat whisperer, or she recognises somebody else with a beard.
There we go. All right, girl, it's okay.
And the pig is lovely. She's about a couple hundred yards that way. Her name is Rosie, and she's very friendly, but 300 kilograms, so you want to get in her way.
That used to be Pig Hill, where Rosie used to have the afternoons and days sometimes. We want to try and reinstitute that, but we're about to come to where Rosie is. Come here, girl. Rosie! Well, she's a bit inquisitive. You tease sausage.
So why do you think being in nature is important for these people?
What this place offers is a place with purpose, and what a lot of nature provides in terms of looking after the animals or looking after the crops and maintaining the woodland is a purpose, it's a responsibility. A lot of the people who come here have come from very chaotic lives, so the structure that we offer and the nature bit provides them with something to do more than anything else. And in the conversations I've been having with people, nearly everybody has mentioned looking after the animals or the joy of being in the woodlands. So yeah, I think it's part of Windsor Hill Wood, but it's not the whole of Windsor Hill Wood.
The woodland itself requires constant attention. It is as fragile as the people who come here and just as capable of renewal.
It's a great place just to walk. I think I'm not an avid walker, but I really feel the moment I started to walk around here, it was quite therapeutic. I began to actually engage with it in a totally different way. You know, I come from an urban environment, and certainly walking around an urban environment isn't therapeutic.
Yeah.
Unless you go into the Tate Modern or something. But you know, generally a high street's not therapeutic.
So what makes this place special?
That's a good question. I mean, there's so much about this place that is special. It's the people, it's the woods, it's the wildlife, it's being able to grow your own food. It's being, as I say, just being able to wander around the woods and just feel that nature all around. We've had, I mean, in the spring, you know, the birds singing, and there's a good variety of birds. You know, there's a whole range from spotted flycatchers, which are not common, tree creepers, nuthatches, woodpeckers, and so much more. The pond here is wonderful. You know, the frogs come and lay their spawn. In a sense, this land here, this was, if you think about it, this was just devastation. It was a quarry. There was nothing here. Well, not nothing. There was a dug-out quarry. It was a stone quarry. And now it's growing back, and you have a beautiful woodland. I mean, what a beautiful parable, really, illustrating the recovery of the land here, and then people here in recovery. And we have usually around about 5 residents, and it's a place of refuge. I mean, that is what this place is all about. It's for people to come and
Love you, bro. Yeah.
recover, get their life back together on track, and move on. But being here and surrounded by all of this is what makes it special, and being able to, as I say, grow stuff, the rhythm of the day, the meal times together, shared life together, community life. That's a big part of what it's all about.
Life at Windsor Hill Wood is deliberately simple, but it is not isolated. Just minutes away, village shops and cafes offer more than supplies. They offer choice, routine, a quiet return to ordinary life. Even here, life is contained, but still part of the wider world. For many guests, walking into town, buying food, sitting with a coffee, exchanging a few words are small steps back into society. Though rooted in Christian hospitality, its welcome is wide.
Like worship is not just singing for me. It's not just going to a building and singing karaoke because the words are on the screen and there's music playing. But worship is in making things beautifully. It's in laying the table in a way that is honouring to other people. It's respectful to those people. It's holding space for that person, and that is a form of worship, of honouring other people, loving each other.
You know, our faith is not so much about stone building as living stones, and it's this in so many ways is actually real church, and that Jesus was either on his way to a meal, coming back from a meal, or at a meal.
Faith here is not preached, but practiced through hospitality, service, silence, and forgiveness.
I think faith and spiritual, the people that God brings here even are broken. Yeah. The people that lead this place have, they've got stuff they need to go through. And one of the, one of the questions about the woods is that takes away your veneer. That takes away any pretense, and you're faced with who you are. And you have to, that's probably the scariest thing, being faced with who you are.
Many guests arrive with no religious background. Others bring complicated histories with faith. But belonging doesn't depend on belief. It depends on presence.
So would you class yourself as a Christian?
No, I'm not a Christian in a sense that maybe Hez and Toby and the previous ones, Catherine and Chris, were. Do I believe in Christian values as an underpinning ethos for this place? Absolutely. The thing I like about this place is that for me it's Christianity in action. So the majority of people here, certainly as guests, some would class themselves as Christians, but it's fine not to. And that's what I like about it. It's the inclusivity rather than the only way is the Christian way. That's very personal to me. Other people will feel differently, but that is my view.
Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways.
Would you say religion helps you, or are you religious?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I think I've found God here in a new way. But I think when you find yourself, maybe you find out God's a lot more kind and gracious. And a lot of us aren't very kind and gracious to ourselves.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate byproduct of that is you won't be gracious to other people. And it sounds odd. I mean, I don't know how well you know the Bible, but it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind and everything. And the second command is love your neighbour as yourself. Yeah. So we all say love your neighbour. But actually not be in love with yourself or self-love, but to really love yourself in a slightly way where you can empty yourself and be at peace. You can actually say, I can hold myself. Because if I can't carry myself, I'm not going to carry you through any situation.
Running a refuge is demanding. Resources are limited. The emotional labour is constant. Wardens balance compassion with practical realities, repairing buildings, supporting guests in crisis, navigating paperwork, and holding together the needs of a small but intense community.
And because we are teachers, as Tobe said, getting the place sorted and right so that there's a named peg for the child, it's almost that needed to happen here. And it's taken 2 years to really get to that point where we're thinking, okay, I think we're getting here, is almost ready.
The strain is real, and yet so is the dedication.
It's tough. Don't embark on something like this if you're not prepared to give it everything. and for it to demand everything. Yeah.
In a world driven by money, places like this are always at risk, and Windsor Hill Wood, a refuge built on compassion, time, and community rather than profit, lives constantly on the edge. Guests contribute what they can, but the refuge still relies on the goodwill of volunteers and the generosity of donors. People who give their time, their skills, or their resources simply because they believe a place like this is worth protecting.
Great. I'm Keith Stuffins. I've been helping out here, 3 or 4 years, something like that. And Windsor Hill Wood is in an old quarry full of dead and dying ash trees. There's loads of firewood for the community, and not enough people to cut the dead trees down, process it, season it, get it ready for the fire. So I'm, very, very happy to help out here doing that. I'm a tree surgeon, so I'm doing less paid work and more voluntary work, and I would like to be here more and more.
What would you say inspires you to do this?
I suppose desire to do something a bit more meaningful, give something back, Yeah, I've got some spare time, and I've got the skills, so why not use them?
For some, volunteering at Windsor Hill is part of their own therapeutic journey.
Oh, well, 1 year I got to feed some baby lambs. It was the first time I'd ever done it, and I really enjoyed myself. I fed them with a bowl. I'd never done that before.
So what do you think the future will be like for Windsor Hill Farm Wood?
I think that's one of the things we're thinking about at the moment, because financially we're not a charity that attracts a lot of money, because we don't have an attractive group of clientele. Money tends to go, I have to say, to children and animals and that sort of stuff, not to people who come in off the street. We're small. We don't charge an economic rent to people. We charge what they can afford on benefits. So I think for me, it's a question of how we're going to survive financially, and I think that's a huge question that we're asking ourselves at the moment. And giving to charities has dropped off the edge of a precipice. We're well aware of that. The future, I think, will be to make this place of a reasonable standard for people to live in, to secure our financial forward planning, and to reach out more to the local community and get more people who might enjoy to come to us as volunteers or something in. Not massively different from how it is now. But I have been here for a long time now, and I know that my time here is beginning to come to an end, and other people will take it on in different directions, and that's absolutely fine. That's right, and that's as it should be.
And give me 3 words that you would sum up this place.
Safety, offering people who've had pretty unsafe lives a safe place to be. Family. One guy said to me the other day that he really liked being here with us because he'd learnt that families didn't have to hit each other the whole time. So I think a lot of the stuff that we do is about what I'd call, being a sort of social worker, reparenting. Yeah. So it's people learning how to be different. So family, and what's the third one? Community. Yeah, living in community is brilliant, and also drives you completely nuts. But it's just an amazing place. If it's the right place for you, and you're the right place for it, then it's probably the place that I think offers. Can't describe it. You just have to live it and feel it. And people come here and they think it's all wonderful, and everything's marvellous. And then about 6 months later, they know far better than you how to run the place. And then what happens is people either then leave because they've had enough of the place, or they really bed into it and really continue to offer themselves in their place. But it's a magic place.
Yeah.
But I can't explain the magic. It just is about being here and experiencing it. You've got to live it.
Keeping this community alive is a constant balance. Buildings age, costs rise, and the emotional work required to support people in crisis is vast, far greater than the numbers on a spreadsheet. Sustainability here isn't guaranteed. It's a daily act of commitment, creativity, and faith.
Yeah, pace of life is slower. And, when your brain's used to sort of flying around at 100 miles an hour, slowing down a bit is good. I personally don't like being on my own. Therefore, having people around is supportive, it's reassuring, even if you're not necessarily interacting with them, they're there if you need to. For me, doing manual jobs is a great form of kind of meditation and relaxation, because you just lose yourself in it and you're not thinking about all the problems that are bothering you.
For many guests, the refuge becomes a turning point. Some stay for weeks, others for up to a year. Some move on to work, study, or renewed family connections. Others leave with quieter changes, newfound confidence, steadiness, or a sense of being able to begin again.
So, Chris, why is it so important to have a place like this?
Well, I suppose we're all adults here, and as much as we need community, I think you need your own sacred space and a place to, for me anyway, kind of make a home. Persian carpet I found, some really nice knickknacks from the local junk shops. If you look here, we've got an oil can that's about 80, 100 years old.
Did
we
you
found
find
it in the Landh, yeah. And then, just little projects I'm working on up here. Bought a lovely painting in a charity shop. They've really tried to encourage us to do therapeutic things, so whatever it is. So rather than just watch YouTube and get into things that are short-term fixes, do things that actually give you the possibility to recalibrate and are healthy. So for me, the whole getting into clothing and combining it with art is really nice. Really nice. It's very therapeutic and it's very healthy. Not so healthy as well. It's really to stay away from bad things and destructive behaviour. So it's encouraging new lines of thought that stimulate good, healthy behaviour and that help us stay balanced.
What do you think the world would be like if we had more places like this?
Well, I think more places like this are absolutely required. There are too many people. I mean, there are a lot of people who are homeless, who end up on the streets, and there are people who've come through here who will tell you this place has saved my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a fact. This place has saved people's lives, and will go on doing so. That is our hope. That is our prayer for this place.
So you must have seen many people come here and leave.
I have.
Is there anything that you've learned from someone that you would take away?
I think the resilience of the human spirit. This morning I went down to see a guy who came here about 6 years ago. He's doing well, he's fine, he's in his flat, he's doing a counselling course actually. And I asked him pretty much the same question, what did you get from Windsor Hill Wood that you can take on with you? And he said, and I think it's absolutely true, the ability to bounce back and start again. What we don't do is say that we're the be-all and end-all of people's lives. So somebody won't leave here healed or sorted. We offer a step on the way. We're part of their journey. And Windsor Hill Wood's also part of my journey. I'm beginning to pull out of it now a bit because I've been involved for many years and my life's moving on in different directions. But it'll always be a part of my journey, a part of where I am now.
Is this model sustainable? Or does its strength lie precisely in its smallness, fragile, intimate, and deeply human?
Oh, it's a fantastic place, yeah. I've always got a smile on my face whenever I'm here. There's always someone I can have a laugh with.
In a society struggling with loneliness, addiction, and mental illness, is this small community a glimpse of what we've lost, or of what we might rediscover? Windsor Hill Wood remains above all a community of people, flawed, hopeful, resilient, trying to live differently. Whether it becomes a blueprint for change or remains a rare pocket of refuge, it continues to ask a simple, difficult question. What does it mean to take care of one another?